the man that MMA could not humble, Khabib Nurmagomedov. This man exemplified humbleness. He is someone who put on a great standard and representation of himself, his family, his culture, his religion. This is a man who you can't really point to too many moments of Khabib not being on point. Yeah, sure, you could bring up the homeless man, making him do push-ups for money or something like that. But if you really look at that, not for nothing, you're out there begging in the street for money. You're gonna do some work. Can you do push-ups, brother? Do some, you know what I mean? So I kind of don't mind Habib making him do that. It's not like he made him fucking lick the bottom of his sneaker or something demeaning and humiliating, and eat a hot chip or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of worse things out there. And if that's all you got on Khabib, you're kind of grasping at straws. So, Khabib never got humbled in the sport. Everybody gets humbled in this sport. We just saw Bo Nickel get humbled over the weekend. A lot of people loved it. I loved it. I called it. But with that said, Bo Nickel is one of those guys who needed it. Khabib never needed it. There's something to that. I was thinking of it, and I said, everybody gets humbled in this sport. And then I thought of Khabib, and I said, well, if you fight long enough. That was my next point. If you fight long enough, you're going to get humbled. Well, the idea of fighting long enough, all that means is you fought too long, right? We've seen Anderson Silva fight too long, BJ Penn fight too long, Frankie Edgar fight too long. I could keep doing that for so many people. And of course, their ego that told them that they could still do it and they could turn back the clock, and they are still that guy. Jose Aldo going into a fight against Ayman Zahabi this weekend. Interesting to see how that goes. Maybe he still is that guy. Maybe he gets humbled. Who knows? But people fight too long. That's ego. Khabib dropped the ego. Khabib said, listen, bro, I promised my mom. What could I do? Like, I promised my mother I wouldn't do this anymore if certain circumstances happen. And he's lived up to the promise he made to his mother. That's a pretty commendable thing. He's turned down like multi millions of dollars. Why? Because he already has multi millions of dollars. He is someone who, what do I need Lamborghini yacht for? Hey, come here. Ireland, Brooklyn, Lamborghini yacht. Doesn't matter. Like Dolly and bus. I fucking send a torpedo to your yacht, bro. You know what I mean? Like, Khabib is different. Khabib don't need any of that. He don't need the red carpets. He don't need, that life. And it's funny that comes to me because Conor and Khabib are literally fire and ice. They are the duality. They are what happens if you chase the worldly success, right? Khabib didn't chase worldly success. Khabib had a dream of being UFC champion and proving he's number one, and he did that. I don't think there's anyone, if you can go back at the time and say, I want to see this guy fight Khabib. Maybe Charles Oliveira, some of you guys are going to come out, but bro, Islam smashed Charles Oliveira, and come on, bro, like, what are we talking about? This all hit me as I'm watching some of these fights here on Fight Pass. Get Fight Pass, by the way. A lot of y'all don't have Fight Pass, and you talk like, like, watch fights. You got to watch fights, guys, in order to, talk. But I'm watching Jack Della Maddalena's fights in preparation for this weekend against Bilal. And I'm just watching how he did Randy Brown. I'm watching how he's, like, putting a beating on these guys. And I think to myself, damn, look at Randy Brown now. Look at where Randy Brown is now after that performance just over the weekend. And it was a fantastic performance. It was, but that moment where he face plants and, a very humbling defeat, that moment is what was able to propel Randy Brown. All that matters is you keep moving forward. And this is when I bring it back to Bo. Bo went on Ariel Helwani's, the Ariel Helwani show, he calls it now. It's no longer the MMA Hour. I personally miss the MMA Hour, but it is what it is. So, Ariel Helwani show, he's on there. and he's talking about, he's kind of saying all the right things, and it sounds very PR trained. It sounds very media trained. It sounds like I'm going to say all the right things to get people to be back on my side and to end up as likable and just be the sweet, humble Bo. But we all remember what he said about Hamza Shemaev's wrestling being trash and saying, why can't we just wrestle? And saying things like, just talking crazy, talking about, 2 years from now, I see myself being champion and I'm going to do that. Like, bro, slow down. And your coaches tried to tell you to slow down too, he ended up saying. He said, this has been the story for a while. My coaches were telling me slow down. So I made a video talking about how much blame does his coach get. Listen, dude, I take it back because this kid has been told, apparently. They told him, yo, this is too much too fast. And he's not listening. So this is a guy who didn't listen to his coaches and said, no, we're going to go ahead with the UFC and we're going to do this. So he has brought all this upon himself, the way he conducts himself. Like, it's on podcasts, it's on interviews with Ariel and others. Bo Nickal is out here, and you see the clips. If you're on any form of social media, you see the clips of Bo Nickal talking crazy, and they're playing the edits and the music, and it's, that's what you bring upon yourself when you talk like that. Your words matter. This is what it is. Colby Covington's lucky he didn't take his losses in this, clip farming era and this you know what I mean? Like, because, they would have been crazy with it. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a little tangent I wanted to go on. Bo Nickal, the things that he needs to do is go back to his wrestling, focus on that, and build off of that. Managing Oneself, a book by Peter Drucker. It's a Harvard classic review. It's like their top 100 recommended books since 1922 or something like that, I think. It's this thick. It's a really small book, and it's a easy read. And I think it's only like $10 or $12 on Amazon, maybe even less. You could probably get it for like $8. So, point being, this book talks about building upon your strengths. Don't worry about the weaknesses. You'll get better at it over time regardless. Like, the more you do something, you're going to strengthen, you know what I mean? More mistakes you learn from the mistakes, you do the right things to adhere to them. But don't worry about the weaknesses. That'll fill out over time. Worry about your strength. Take your strength and pour all your effort, all your motivation, all your soul, your passion, everything, pour it into your strengths. And that's how you become exceptional, and that's how you rise, and that's how you're able to basically succeed, right? Khabib never went in there trying to be Bangkok ready Bo and strike with people, He went in there, time to smash. Doesn't matter, brother. Today, smash. And he went in there and kind of changed the game in ways. Like, I feel like Khabib's impact doesn't get talked enough, and maybe it will over time. But Khabib is he's something special, and that just came to mind. I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to hear from you, though. I want to know what you guys think on this idea that the humble don't need to be humbled, And you can tell someone who is humble from someone who isn't by maybe how many losses they take. I'm just spitballing ideas at this point. I'm not making any declarations. I'm just theorizing in front of you. And feel free to theorize with me in the comment section below, whether you agree or disagree. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and of course, leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.